Welcome to the cast. We are so glad that you are here with us today. If you have not joined us before, we are definitely in for a good episode. So this is going to be a great way to start you off with the podcast, whether you are watching YouTube or the app, or you're listening through any kind of Apple, Spotify, whatever service you're using. We're so glad you're here. So if you don't know me, my name is Emily Porter. My co-host is Gary West. Those are two familiar faces. And then behind the scenes familiar face is Tim Ray. If you see him over there, he is the man behind everything that goes on. So he is the brains for sure. Mm-hmm. But we are so excited to have our guest tonight is Cody and Brittany Apple. Thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to kind of diving into your stories. And tonight is just being yourself, having a conversation, whatever you want to say, don't want to say, totally up to you. But I'm sure from previous episodes, you guys probably have listened or watched. Mm-hmm. We do have fun facts. Typically it's from Shannon and Tia, but they're not here tonight for good reasons, celebrating big birthdays. But Tim has decided he's going to take over the fun facts, so we're going to let him roll with it.
Well, I'll just lay this right out here. Did you know that the longest wedding veil ever was 63 football fields long?
Oh my goodness.
Football fields.
That's right. Some woman in Cyprus apparently just likes to hurt her neck.
What year was this?
Wow.
I don't know. It doesn't say. I stole this from the internet. I am not Shannon.
No way.
63 football fields. What ceremony place is that big?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they just drug it down the street.
They just had it folded up.
Wrapped around the building.
I'm just thinking about the seamstress on that. She probably
that
spent
too.
her whole life because that was her life's creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how much that thing cost.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would break my neck.
Right.
Did you have a veil?
I did not.
I didn't want to, but then everybody was kind of like, you need to have one. So.
I didn't.
But then I was happy I did it. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes they look like grandmas, though, when they wear veils. Don't you think?
So that's the thing that covers your face?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot
Or
of
it
people,
doesn't have to.
Yeah, it
I was
doesn't
going to ask, does it have to? No. Okay.
Mine didn't. But, I mean, some people, they got, the whole, garb, and then they pull back and all that.
Just more accessories.
Yeah. Okay, so if they pull it back, I wonder if she had a front piece that was like...
that's a good thought, too. Yeah.
Okay, next one.
Oh, you want another one?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
These are supposed to be strategically placed.
I didn't know if there was a theme.
I mean, there's not a theme. This looks interesting. Let's read it.
Okay.
Did you know the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland? Unicorns aren't even real.
Why?
Why would they have a national animal of a unicorn in Scotland?
Did they give a reason? They gave no reasons. What year?
Because of its
that in?
association with dominance and chivalry, as well as purity and innocence in Celtic mythology.
Are you on Wikipedia? I don't think either of these are
true.
true.
See the mythology part.
I don't think neither of these.
This website is questionable enough that they may not be true.
Okay.
And if they were going to use fictional things, why not use Loch Ness?
For sure.
True.
I mean, they have that option right there in front of them.
True.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Wow. That's interesting.
Well, if you need any more interruptions, I'll come up with some more.
All right. You come.
Go for it.
Well, I don't know. This is kind of random. I don't know if we should even say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. So, fun fact. So, I work with a bunch of machines, and we have this terminology. It's called DRE. I don't know. Tim might know it because he's all machine, whatever. But it's digital or directed reading something, whatever. None of us knew what it meant, so I Googled it today at work. DRE. You know what came up?
What?
Digital rectal exam.
Oh.
So,
That is a fun fact.
Yeah.
fun fact.
Very fun fact.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You didn't click on images, did you?
No, I didn't click on images. Nope. That was good. So, yeah, there's my little tidbit to throw in there with yours. Anyway, back to serious stuff. So, we're going to kind of jump in. There is no set schedule, no way to go about it. So, whoever wants to talk first, you just take right off. I don't know if you guys want to talk how you met first, introduce yourself, and then go from there, and we can kind of help out. If you have kind of blank moments, we can fill in from there. So, whoever wants to get the ball rolling.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, start.
I figured as much. Well, I'm Cody Apple, and I just hit that. Sorry. Don't kill me.
Pull it closer, Cody.
Closer.
There you go.
There you go.
And I don't know where to start. The best thing I can say is it's kind of funny how me and her met, really. We kind of have some jokes going on because for several years before I met her, there was a few other girls that I was interested in, and one of them was her cousin.
Okay.
The second one was her sister. So it's like, I was pointing in the direction,
He got closer.
Start someplace else, Cody.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else.
He works with my cousin.
Yes.
My mom's boyfriend at the time, worked with Cody.
Okay.
And that's how he met my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
But I was in a relationship, so we didn't ever meet
And
for
I
a
didn't
while.
know she existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, how long did it take till you met her? Like,
So after I met her sister and whatnot, probably 6 months, maybe, if that.
Maybe. But I don't think we started talking.
Yeah,
Right
I found
away.
her sister was a little too young for me. We were like 7 or 8 years. I'm like, no, that was not going to work for me. And her mom was like, well, I have an older daughter, and I said, you do? Why have I never met this girl? And she was like, yeah, she's with someone right now. I'm like, well, that's not going to do me any good. But, well, they ended up splitting up, and I think I met her one day when I was hanging out with her mom and the guy her mom was with at the time. And I was like, well, she's kind of cute. So she's like, well, I had her on Facebook. I'm like, okay. And so I did. And me being, the guy I am, I didn't say a word, didn't try to, just liked her stuff on Facebook. And one day she shared something about Nickelback, and I was like, okay, this is the girl. Okay, we're getting to the right direction. And I think it was like the end of
the old Facebook stalker.
Yeah.
He was a Facebook stalker.
Yeah. But anyway, I think I asked her out this December 29th.
The day that we became together was like January 18th, so it was definitely around December.
Yeah, I think it was like December 2019 whenever I asked her out. I used to be a pretty big off-roader, so I asked her to go mudding with me.
impressive.
That's kind of the
That was an experience.
romantic thing around here. She told me no. And she's like, she's like, well, would you go out to breakfast with me or something like that? And
We started going to Robo Cafe on New Year's Day.
yeah, I think it was New Year's Day we went.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I thought like that day it went pretty good, and I was like, let's do some more. We ended up going mudding in January.
There you
And
go.
I think after about 3 weeks, I finally made it official, and
Yep.
that, hey, I kind of like you. I want to do this thing. Keep going. And I think it was about 3 weeks in, somebody tried to break up with me.
Oh.
And I was down in Mitchell visiting my grandpa, and I remember getting that message, and I was like, no, we're not doing this. Like, nuh-uh. So I dropped everything I was doing, said, meet me at Walmart. And she met me at Walmart, and we talked everything out, and she kind of gave me what she was worried about. And I said, you ain't got to worry about that with me. I'm not, no, none of that.
Yeah.
And, well, here we are today.
Here we are today. So, how long have you guys been married?
So that means we got together in 2020, and we all know what happened in 2020.
So we went through a whole 3 months before COVID really hit in March.
Mm-hmm.
And and
Is
then
it?
we got married in 2021.
Yeah,
Okay.
which there's a story in that which I want to share because
Okay.
that's the big
Sure.
thing.
Sure.
So in 2021, we decided we were just going to get eloped.
Yeah.
And our drummer Kyle Moody got one of those online ministry licenses or whatever, and he was going to marry us at a cabin in Tennessee.
We had 8 people going with
Yeah,
us.
we had guests. I mean, we were going to have a party that night and everything. We had it all planned out.
Yeah.
I bought her an engagement ring and bought her set and all that. Well, in August of 2021, I got the Delta variant of the COVID virus.
On the
That was one
weekend,
of the worst one.
on the weekend, we were supposed to go to Tennessee.
And I ended up in the hospital on 12 liters of oxygen the day we were supposed to go down to Tennessee.
The nurses were not expecting him to leave the hospital.
Wow.
It was that bad.
So I remember, and I'm going to be a crybaby, so that's just how I am.
Okay. We've got you covered. Yeah.
I was sitting in that hospital bed, and she couldn't come in with me
Because I had COVID
because
too.
of all the rules and restrictions they had back then. And I was just sitting there thinking, I'm going to die the night I'm supposed to go get married. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And I remember that I think it was a nurse or a doctor. I'm not sure who it was. They came in with their hands kind of crossed like I got mine. Mm-hmm. And they was like, son, I don't know how to tell you this, but things aren't looking good for you. So she's like, and then she kind of just walked out, left me with that. I was like, well, great bedside manner for one, but two, I just remember sitting there and I was like, I'm not ready to die. I'm 26 years old. I'm like, no. Yeah. And I remember just kind of I don't remember if I said it or if I just thought, I said, God, if you'll give me another chance, I'll clean up. I'll do what I'm supposed to do. I'll just give me another chance. Well, she sat out in the lot that entire night in her car waiting to get results. Wow. Well, they ended up not being able to find a bed nowhere nearby. So I had to go all the way to Muncie Hospital in an ambulance during 69's construction. Oh. So it was a 4-hour ride up there.
They wanted to send him to Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah. And anyway, I went up there and she could come visit me once, and then she got COVID, so she wasn't able to come back. Yeah. So I pretty much spent that week and a half up there by myself on oxygen, cords all over me in a bed. Couldn't hardly take care of myself, couldn't hardly move. And I just remember putting a big prayer chain out there. I said, everybody, Facebook, friends, family, if you can pray, I'm asking you to pray now. Well, here's what the Lord done. Every day that week and a half I was there, that oxygen went down 2 liters. 12, 10, 8, 6, 4. And I walked out of there. Well, I was wheelchaired out of there. I still couldn't walk. But 2 liters of oxygen.
Yep. Wow.
And the nurse that checked me in when I first got there was also the one that checked me out. And she even said herself, she's like, I didn't expect to see you leave here.
Wow.
So I was like, well, my God's stronger.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I wish I could say when I got back that, I went, boldly, gung-ho, serving the Lord, but I didn't.
Sure.
But that never left me. He gave me another chance. And when I got back, I think I was on oxygen for about a week or two after that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys heard much about COVID, but you ever hear about the brain fog part of it? I had a very severe case of that. And I was a very angry person, and I said things to her that I don't even know where it came from. Yeah. I did told her things, said things, acted in a way. Like, she ran out of the room crying one time, had to call my mother, said, I'm tired of your son, but I love him. Yeah. Or something like that.
I asked my mom if she really needed a son-in-law.
Yeah. But in all of that, when I'd kind of come to myself, I'd always just start crying and say, honey, I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't mean that. But what really sold me on knowing she was the one was the fact that she put up with all that. Yeah. And I said, honey, I want to marry you. Let's do this right. And I said, let's go to the church house this time. So we got it arranged, and we got married December 11th of 2021.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And then 2 months later, here comes little Casey.
What a spitfire.
Right.
Yep.
And if you're listening, Casey's the one that runs around with the bright red hair.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't miss him.
No.
Always
Totally.
chasing somebody.
He's wide open.
100% a pistol.
Yep.
But yeah, that's just kind of the story of us. I knew.
Wow.
I knew that I knew right then and there, the way she handled things, that like, this is the woman I need right here.
Yeah. What a testimony. That's awesome. For your recognition for the Lord and your recognition for her, both at the same time. So would you like to tell your point of view kind of on anything, or how you finally realized he was the one you wanted to be with? What, anything you wanted to add to that story?
Not really. I think he covered all.
Not
of
really?
it.
She's still trying to decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She probably doesn't want to get crying. That's probably what a
yeah,
lot
a little
of
bit
it
of
is.
that.
You wouldn't be the first one on his cry. So,
Let's talk about how you guys came to Bedford First Assembly.
Okay. So we were part of a church in Mitchell for a long time.
Brittany,
so-
are you from Mitchell?
I am from Bloomington, technically.
Bloomington.
wow.
Okay.
I didn't know
So we were kind of going there on and off. It's the church we got married at, and I just kind of started falling off. Like I said, I wasn't really serving the Lord a lot. I told him what I wanted. He gave me a chance. I'm like, well, thanks.
yeah.
But he wasn't done. I knew he wasn't done.
Nope.
And I remember hearing this message at a church she used to go to out in Heltonville, and this pastor gave a sermon. It was breakthrough in 22, because 2022 had just
Yeah.
started.
Okay.
And I took that for a couple reasons. First one is I was working at General Motors back then, and I was absolutely miserable. I hated it there. I wasn't happy, and I took breakthrough as breakout. And so I walked out of my job in March of that year, just kind of going with it, saying we'll figure it out. Still to this day, I don't regret that decision. But
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, there was other things, I was like, the Lord wants me to break through. And we kind of tried some churches here and there and went here and, different places.
Yep.
And actually, it was Kyle Moody.
Once again, Kyle Moody
Yeah.
has something in our story.
Me and him has been best friends for years, if you can't tell.
Okay.
Anyway, he got a hold of me one day, and Wes Rainey had been talking to him, and he's like, hey, why don't you come check out our church? And I kind of was on this thing of looking for churches because there was some church hurt in my past. I won't go into that's for a different time. And every church I went to, I was looking for a reason not to come back. Like, oh, well, they said this. Oh, well, they done this. Like, no, we can't go there. No, we're not doing that. And Kyle said, hey, man, why don't you come check this church out with us? I'm like, you mean the big one? Yeah, the big one. 26. Oh, yeah, I used to go down to Stack Rock when I was a teenager and stuff. I'd break
yeah.
through their playground and
Yep.
all that. So, yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
That place. There's actually a picture, and I can give it to you guys later, of me, Matt Turpin, that goes here, and
Yeah.
a couple other guys of us in the back parking lot being silly teenage boys.
Really?
So I can show that to you later. It's
That's
pretty
awesome.
humorous. And but yeah, anyway, back to what we're talking about. We came to check it out,
Yeah.
and that was when Pastor Dodds was interim for Pastor Chris and Amy. And I remember coming here that day and hearing him preach, and I was like, I like that guy. I was like, I don't care about the other guy. Let's keep him. And Pastor Chris knows this. I've already told him this, so he got a nice laugh out of it. But there was some stuff going on. I remember there was like some things I heard here, some things I saw people doing. I'm just like, I don't know if I want to go back to this place or not. But I just, after that one service, I came back and the Lord just kept saying, stay here. And I'm like, you know what? I like this place. I came here, the way I tell some other people is I came here looking for a reason to leave and found a reason to stay.
Yep.
Wow.
I was sold on church as soon as we walked in the doors. Just the love that I felt,
Yeah.
especially coming in with a little baby and just feeling the love of everybody. Vicky, so great in the nursery.
Oh, yeah.
She's been such a big help. And our pastors
Yeah.
and just friends, it's been amazing.
Yeah, it's cool to hear that because you can see how Kyle brought you and you've brought Matt, and Matt's bringing people now.
Yep.
And it's spreading, and that's the way it's supposed to happen.
Yes.
It's organic and natural, and it's cool to see that happen. And Pastor Dodd too. We've had him a couple times on the podcast, but he's impacted so many people.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's really cool to hear that story.
Yes. That's wonderful. So you said that you felt like just immediate love. So when did you guys feel like you wanted to really start getting involved, like meeting more people and maybe trying to serve? Do you guys serve in anything right now?
I'm in the nursery
Okay.
on Sundays and Wednesdays.
Okay. So tell me how you kind of got into that. And maybe for people that are kind of wanting to get into something, they're not really sure. They're new. We have a lot of new people at church. And sometimes it's scary to
Yeah.
be like, okay, I'm going to step out and do something.
Yeah.
Maybe enlighten them, tell them how you kind of made that decision and it got you in with more people.
Yeah. Just spending time with Vicky and Katie and all the ladies that serve in the nursery, they really got me in there.
That's awesome.
Then I love kids, and that was an easy go for me. So
yeah, that's wonderful.
And Cody, you're helping with the men's group, but you also are kind of leading. You have a Monday night. Well, it used to be Monday. You guys have morphed that around.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll put a plug in for it here.
Go ahead.
So we're meeting on the first and third Thursdays of every month, and we came up with a name. We call it the Kingdom Builders, Men's Discipleship, and our motto is, men becoming kingdom builders to make kingdom builders. So discipleship, that's kind of what we focus on, is just, getting the guys together, feeling comfortable that they can come talk to other guys about some stuff they may be going through, and to kind of let them know that they're not alone. A lot of things I hear about men all the time is they go through stuff, they think they're going through it alone. You're not. You're not.
Yeah.
I promise there's things I've done in my life, you look at me like, wow, he done that. I did. I'm not proud of it, but the Lord's getting me through it.
And you're forgiven.
And I'm forgiven, yeah.
Yeah. It's no longer held against you.
Yep.
So you've had a couple successful people come through and stay at the church through that ministry, which is really good, really encouraging.
What times do those meetings?
5:30.
5:30.
Yeah,
okay.
5:30.
Do you guys do like the church cafe or?
Yeah, we're in the cafe currently. If we get bigger, then we'll probably have to find another room. But
okay.
There's always food.
I was going to say, food's involved.
Yeah,
There's
food's
always
always
food.
involved.
And I've always got beverages. I work for a big beverage company, so I always make sure we're taken care of on that.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've served in Royal Rangers before.
Okay.
And I felt like I had a little bit different calling. I felt more called to help, more grown men out.
Yeah.
As my kid Casey gets older, I may try to get back in there, kind of grow up with him a little bit, but we got some time.
Sure.
But you're trying things out, and that's kind of how you find your place, I think, is by trying different things out, and you'll find like maybe this one's not a good fit, or maybe this one is, that type of thing. But you got to be open and willing to try some things.
Yeah, like the old Nike slogan, just do it.
Just do it. Do it.
Yep.
And you may try it and like it, and the Lord may have you there for just a season.
Yeah. That's very
And then
true.
he may call you to something else later. So it's just like you guys said, you just do it, get in there and, trial and error, see what works for you and what doesn't.
Yeah.
The Lord will tell you.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I know this answer, but for me, I always felt more growth, and I got more out of it than I felt like I was probably giving to whatever it was. Are you guys the same way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It works that way. Like once you get involved, if you get involved in a ministry, you will start to grow. You will start to develop the gifts that the Holy Spirit has given to you, and it's organic. I think you don't have to force it; it just happens.
Yes.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So I noticed, as the last couple of years that you guys have been coming here, you seem to really deep dive into community, who's sitting around you. Like, especially on Wednesday nights, if Pastor Chris would ask, do you have any praise reports or prayer requests? You never hesitated. Never hesitated. And to me, that was always awesome. And, I'm sure it's not only an encouragement to Pastor Chris when you speak of things that you were so thankful for, but I'm sure it's an encouragement to other people around. So as a guy, how can you encourage other men to maybe be bolder in their faith? And because I always notice that you're one of the first ones up there to worship at the altar too. And to me, that's just awesome. That's really awesome. So how can you encourage men to be bold in their faith? Any thoughts?
Just listen to him. That's one of the biggest ones. And, I've heard people say in the past that, I can't hear him. Well, you got to get down in that quiet space. You got to find that place where it's literally just you and him sometimes. And that can be down there at the altar. That can be in your garage. I mean, that can be anywhere. That could be on your car on the way to work. Let me tell you, we've had some worship services on the way to work in the past couple of years where I've been crying. And I'm sure the people driving by like, what is wrong with that lunatic? But just getting a couple of good men friends You know, not more than like 2 or 3, really. Just someone that you can just, guys, I'm having a rough day. Guys, I need this help. Like, hey, man, this cool stuff happened. Let's talk about it. You know, that's really what helps me. Is every time, my guy is Bill Kramer.
Yes.
He is my church grandpa. I've called him that for a couple years now.
That's awesome.
But he took it on him as a like personal mission to pour into me, and his wife has poured into her.
Okay.
And I call him probably once or twice a week sometimes. It's like, Bill, this happened. Or, Bill, this happened, man.
Yeah.
I messed up. It's just, you know, there's highs and lows, but just getting a hold of somebody. That's the way to really do it. Just talking about what you're going through. Like I said a little bit ago, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Most of the time you think that, well, there's no way nobody's going through this. Well, maybe not quite the same way, but they've went through some other stuff that could be worse or could be along the lines of it that they can help you.
Absolutely. And so he had mentioned that Ruth Ann has really been a person of impact towards you, which really points out the fact that us younger people in the church really need to cling on to the wisdom and the love of the older in the church where they can pour into us.
Yes.
Is there anything specific that you can think of that Ruth Ann has given you in the amount of time that you've known her that maybe has stuck with you, or just maybe the love and her atmosphere being around her? And
the love and atmosphere. I chase that woman down for hugs just about every time we have a meeting at church.
Yes.
She is, like Cody said, she's like my church grandma.
Yeah.
And I miss her when she's not there. And I feel it when she's not in the building. I just love that woman.
Yeah.
Bill and Ruth Ann both, they're the type of people like Cindy, you can always tell they have experienced God. They're wearing it when they're walking around. Like you don't have to ask.
No.
You can just tell.
Yes.
100%. Yes. I am just very thankful for you guys to share your story. Now, I know that we had discussed this a little bit earlier, but is there anything you would like to continue sharing with the audience?
Yes.
Not it.
We are expecting our second.
Yay!
And it's a girl. We found that out today. We are very excited.
Yep. Casey's going to be a big brother.
Yes. We're very nervous to see how that's going to look.
Because he's a little bit of a mama's boy.
Yes. But we're going to get through it.
Do you think she'll have red hair?
I hope so.
Yeah?
I hope so.
Is the red hair from your family? Or
It has to come from both sides, apparently.
Okay.
So I have a long line of redheads.
Okay.
Like my older cousin, he has a little boy that's a redhead, but he was the last one until Casey.
Okay.
And they're quite a few years apart, too.
Okay.
So
I've got red on the other side of my head, but
But Cody's papa was also a real redhead. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah.
Comes by it naturally then.
Yes.
Yes.
yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But I mean, if it does, it'll be cool.
It's very dominant, so I hope it happens.
Yeah. That's very exciting.
Yes.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
That's a great thing to look forward to.
Yes.
I do want to mention one more thing before we get too far away from it. You said something about what kind of made us stick here.
Yeah.
Is whenever we brought Casey in as a baby in a car seat, I mean, we had him in the pews for a few weeks,
Yes.
I think. And no one ever said, hey, you don't need to have that baby in here. He was crying through the service, and no one ever said anything. And then for a while, there was a nursery on Wednesday night services.
And Vicky.
And that little dude would just run around and, everybody, he'd like, hi, and, love on him or whatever. And nobody ever said an ill word about that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad Marjorie didn't get on to him or get on to you guys.
If anybody would, it would be Marjorie.
It would be Marjorie.
She would. I tell you.
It was all welcoming, and because we were probably one of the only ones bringing a little guy that little. So
At that time.
yeah.
Now we have a lot more babies that are in with us in service.
Yes.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, our kids group are, that's growing.
Yes.
The littles and the
nursery is flourishing.
Nursery
Oh,
full.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. It's awesome to see the kids grow because those are the next generations.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
I love watching them grow up and moving on to Arya. I love watching her go into the teenage.
Yes.
That's so much fun.
Yes. 100%. Love it.
So can I do one of those little fun facts real quick?
Of course.
If it's a fact. I don't know if
It's a
Tim's
fact.
got the fact part
This one
down.
is a legit fact.
Okay.
But this guy right here was one of my teachers in high school.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Really? I
sure
didn't know
was.
that.
Because I remember coming here. I think I talked to you at the fish fry, the first one we had. And I'm like, did you used to teach or something like that? And he's like, yeah, I taught for like a year, I think is what it was.
Really?
I was like, that's what I thought I knew you from. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like my junior year of high school or something like that.
I think so. Probably sophomore or junior.
Yeah, it was one of the last ones. I know that. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that. Yeah, he was my teacher.
Really? Was this B&L or Mitchell?
Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah, I taught
Okay.
there for a year in 2010, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
16 years
So that was
ago.
my sophomore year. Okay.
You didn't hear me.
Just throwing that in there.
And I thought Cody had looked familiar when I saw him here at church a couple
Yep.
times, but not familiar enough that I was like, I
Yeah.
knew him. But then when we did talk, I think it was at the fish fry. It's like, yeah, that was me, and you were in my class, and you sat, I think, over on the wall as you. I don't know.
Sounds about right.
I've got you. I've got you placed over on my left hand side against the wall somewhere.
So I know Kyle went to B&L and you went to Mitchell. How did you guys meet and become best
So
friends?
there was a couple years that my mom was working here in Bedford and moved to Bedford, and she was trekking me to Mitchell every day, back and forth. And
Wow.
she's like, Cody, would you be interested in going to Bedford? And I was like, I mean, I guess if it makes it easier on you. And I started going here the middle of my 7th grade year, went to BMS,
Okay.
and this is going to be kind of funny. I always thought Kyle was a weird kid at school. And he knows this. I've told him this.
Kyle is a weird kid.
He was a little different, you know. Someone I was like, I probably won't mess with that guy, but you know. Anyway, so I came here for those couple of years. I think I left into my freshman year.
Okay.
I'd gotten into some trouble, got arrested. I know, 15-year-old mischievous me. And my parents decided it was time for a change for me, so I went to move with my grandpa. So I finished out in Mitchell.
Okay.
Well, I remember I was working at the JC store here in Bedford, and Kyle came through the checkout line one day, and he's like, hey, dude, I remember you. I was like, yeah, I remember you too, but we never talked. But all right, what's up?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm going to go to Vincent's for automotive. I said, no way, I am too. So we just kind of like, hey, let's connect down there or whatever. And we did. So we just kind of hit it off down there. You know, he liked car stuff. I liked car stuff. So, we just cool buds.
That's awesome.
And it wasn't until a couple years after this is why I mentioned the middle school part. Apparently, there was some kid picking on me or whatever. I don't even remember this. In 7th or 8th grade year at BMS I've always been kind of a bigger guy, and I guess they were picking on me for something. And I just said, just leave me alone. And I guess Kyle saw it, and he's like, hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size, and literally beat them. Got suspended for it and everything. And I didn't know this till like several years after we've been friends. I'm like, you did what? He said, well, I didn't like bullies. I'm like, well, I appreciate it, but I don't remember it.
Wow.
So
That's Kyle.
Sorry for telling on you, bub.
I remember being in school with Kyle too. I mean, from like kindergarten, 1st grade, I remember I got set right next to him. He always had the scissors out, always poking, always talking. Yep.
Poor Kyle ain't even here to defend himself.
Sorry, Kyle.
Kyle would probably agree with
He
everything.
would
you said.
agree. Yeah.
I will tell you one thing about that guy. He's got one of the biggest hearts
He
there
does.
is.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
He seems to be one that would give the shirt off his back if he
Yes.
ever had
I think
to.
he has a couple times.
Probably.
Yeah.
I know he's gave you his hoodie a couple times when you didn't bring a jacket.
Yeah.
So.
Kyle brought me in whenever me and Cody got together. He lived across the street from my mom and the boyfriend that she had.
Yeah.
And that's how I met Kyle and Sam.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's how my introduction to them was. Kyle was a little wild then
Yeah.
too.
What a small world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very small.
And the Lord always brings back around and
Yes.
ties you guys back together.
And
That's
did,
awesome.
so did Wes got Kyle involved here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder how they were connected. I'd be interested to
Their
know.
dads are friends.
Kyle's dad and Wes have been like this for
Gotcha.
years. I mean, fishing trips, hunting buddies. I mean, you name it, they've done it together. So
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to go fishing with Dan and
yeah, Dan
Wes.
and Wes and Rhett actually,
Yeah.
and
Really?
Jonathan that's going here now. I think it's Alicia. I think it's Alicia.
Yep.
Alicia's husband.
Yep.
Which me and those two used to go to church at the church in Mitchell together a long time ago. So I knew them from there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Brittany, did you grow up in church?
So my dad grew up as a Pentecostal, but when we were growing up, he kind of we were kids, so we didn't really know what we were doing. Whenever I didn't really start going religiously to a church until I was in high school, and we were going to a church that met at Stalker Elementary in the gym, and that's where we started. It was Turning Point Church of the Nazarene.
Really?
Yes.
I
So
didn't know that was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
they met there for quite a few years, and in the last couple of years, they moved to Heltonville.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Really-
So is that the church you were referring to, Heltonville?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Really tiny church. I can't remember, 75 people would meet in there.
Mhm.
I work with a couple people that went there. Great people. I've loved them as long as I've known them. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
That's awesome.
How is it you found the Lord? Did you find him in church?
I found him in church. Yes. Yeah. I was baptized in that church, not in the, we used to have pool parties at one of the ladies that was going there, and that's where I was baptized, at her house in her pool.
Okay.
So, and I joked to Pastor Chris because last year they had a tornado and it took the pool. And I said, "Will you go baptize me in the new pool?" But yeah, I found God in church.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Cody, you too?
I got to go way back.
Okay. I didn't know if the COVID story was where you...
Oh,
That's part of it.
Part of it. Okay.
So, believe it or not, I was in the 4th grade. I was kind of a troublesome kid, I was always looking for attention from my parents. Split up when I was 3 years old, and I didn't, wasn't around my dad a whole lot, and it was just, we won't get into all that. Anyway, my mom had remarried, and he was all right till he wasn't. And anyway, I had this 4th grade teacher, and I was having some anger issues and some trouble, and getting in trouble in class. And believe it or not, she asked me one day at school, "Cody, can I take you to church with me?" And I know how things are today. That's a bold question.
Yeah, that's a bold
yes.
one.
And really introduced me to the Lord. I think it was 10 years old, but I was going to Sunday school and stuff like that, and sitting in the pews underneath them during service. And I remember wanting to go up and ask about baptism one day. I was like, "Well, I like this Jesus guy. He's kind of cool. I want to get baptized." And I went and talked to the preacher about it, and he's like, "Yeah." It's like, there's a couple of things you got to look at, we got to talk about first. And I went home and told my parents about it, and they came up with this, "Well, if you haven't read the whole Bible yet, you can't get baptized, so you shouldn't do this." And, well, I didn't. I just kind of said, "Well, I guess I'm not going to go back then." I told them I wanted to do this, and now I'm not, so I'm going back. So I didn't go back until probably as an older teenager. Years. And just kind of, hit VBSs here and there with my buddies and go to church here and there on a Sunday. I knew who God was. He knew who I was. And that's about where I had things at. And, I had my life and everything. And in 2013, I was in college out of Vincennes. And a lady at our grocery store down there. And this lady, I didn't like her at first. She was kind of a mean one. But she just said, "Hey, why don't you guys come to church with me sometime?" I'm like, you go to church? You're mean. Come to find out, she's one of the sweetest ladies ever. We just read her wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That happens.
So we did. We went to visit her church, and we started getting really connected with it. We actually went on a mission trip to Haiti, me and the girl I was dating at the time. And I got baptized in the ocean down there.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
But I really only done it because she was doing it. I went to Haiti because she's like, "Well, I want to go to Haiti." I'm like, "Well, if you're going, I'm going."
Right.
But I didn't really feel like I went for the right reasons. And I kind of knew Jesus. I knew he accepted me. I knew I was forgiven, but I didn't know anything about this personal relationship. No one had ever said anything about that. At least I didn't hear it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, things between me and her fizzled out. I got out of college, moved back home, and I probably didn't go to church for 3 years. And believe it or not, Kyle Moody. Here we go again. He's like, hey, man, I'm being the drummer at this church down here in Mitchell, and I think it's awesome. You ought to come hang out with me sometime. I'm like, I guess, whatever. Well, I went, and I was hooked. And I had just gone through a really hard breakup. And I was looking for something, I was looking for something to kind of get me by, to kind of, help me get out of my slump. Well, I met Jesus Christ. And I was like, wow, this guy's cool. I love this guy. He loves me. Like, what? Why? I'm nothing. Why does he love me? But, and I really started, serving, doing outreach. I think one year we went and gave, food and, hand warmers to the homeless people living under the overpass in Louisville. And I loved going and doing outreach. That was one thing and I just, I was like, man, the world needs to know about this guy. And I just kind of, after a couple of years, I kind of started fizzling out. Just kind of walked away, was kind of doing my own thing, hanging out with friends, partying a little bit here and there. And I just kind of let things go. And I think it was in beginning of 2019, I started kind of coming back and was, really on fire for the Lord again. And a good church friend of mine and a couple other church friends was like, hey, I really feel like the Lord's trying to get us to form this new church in Mitchell. And I was like, let me pray on it. Because I don't know about me being in any kind of leadership like that. Like, that's not usually who I am. And anyway, we started this church. And I'm not going to say any names because I want to keep that private because they're really good people. They just had a really hard time. We was doing this church. Things were going great. We were getting money in. We were getting people in there left and right off the streets. I mean, it was just on fire. Well, there were 2 people that was in leadership that were struggling with some stuff in their personal life but were not forthcoming with it. And the enemy wreaked havoc on it. And there was this... I'm going to call her a false prophet because that's some of the things she said was not very appropriate. That we let come preach this one day and ended up with the leaders getting into a big argument and the flock scattered. We had probably 60 people in that church. The next service, maybe 15 came back. The 2 leaders that were struggling with stuff, they left. And then one of the other ones, he's like, well, I don't want no part of this. He left, and it was just, it just totally, I got hurt. And I was like, I love the Lord, but I don't like people. That was my biggest thing. I resented church people for a while. I didn't want to go around people because of certain things they believed, because that's kind of what led to a lot of the issues. Was certain, this leader believed this leader believed this, and then after a while, I was like, well, that stuff's not right, and it, we couldn't just focus on Jesus. And seeing all that fall apart, it just really kind of, it hurt me. Yeah, I was gun shy of church and church people, and I just kind of let it go. So I'd go to church here and there, just sit in a Sunday service. And like I said earlier, I just kind of looked for a reason to leave. Like, oh, well, yep, they're doing this today, so guess what? I'm not coming back. And I was stuck on that trend for a while. And, well, you already heard the story how we came here. So
thank God you're off of it. I said, thank God you're off of it.
Yeah. I realized, that's where I learned you need to follow Jesus, not people.
Oh, yes.
That's a good one.
Yes.
That's great.
That was the problem. I was following people that were following Jesus, and that's not what he calls us to.
No.
He calls us to follow him.
Yes.
That's a good point.
That's wonderful.
And I've heard people say, people will fail you. Not because they mean to all the time, but it's just we're flawed. We're not perfect. There's only one perfect person to walk this earth, and that's Jesus. So as long as you're following him, you're going to be all right.
Yep. Amen.
What a way to end the podcast. You did great, both of you.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. I'm so glad that we got to have you on here, and you guys really were open and honest and vulnerable, and we appreciate that. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, that's a big thing. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know. I've always felt this on me just to be open.
Yeah.
I think people like to see that.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people are afraid to be open. I just say do it.
Yeah.
You know, what's the worst? People say, well, that guy done that. Yeah, well, He knows it too, so
That's right.
I'm forgiven.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We'll look forward. Maybe we can get you guys back on here after the baby and see how life's going.
Answer that redhead question.
Answer the redhead question. That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Yes.
You'll know in August.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
It'll be a
right.
little bit.
We're counting down for you, for
Yes.
sure. Well, thank you again, guys,
Thanks for having us.
joining us. Really, really appreciate it. If you have enjoyed this podcast, make sure if you're on YouTube to subscribe to it so you get notifications when new episodes come out each week. So we will see you next time, and thank you for joining us on The Cast.
This has been The Cast, a podcast of Bedford First Assembly of God in Bedford, Indiana, with Gary West and the reporter Tia Hiles, Shannon Hiles, and Tim Ray. Listen for new episodes of The Cast every Monday.